Hey everyone, welcome to my show. Be sure to hit like, follow, and subscribe on YouTube and Twitch for all my exclusive content. Hello again everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we are preparing ourselves for the arrival of the Gorn Eviscerator for the free-to-play. That's right, if you bought the ship when it came out, 3-4 months ago, you've been using it and enjoying it. But those of us who opted not to give Scopely another $100 for a one-trick pony ship are getting close to our free-to-play path here. As you can see on screen, 154 out of 200 is where you should be, which means you have just about 4 weeks left. All four. I have fingers. There we go. 4 weeks left. So I think September 12th is the projected date that if you've been doing your event every Thursday, you should be able to unlock your Gorn Eviscerator free to play. So since we are about a month out, I wanted to do a quick refresher video, kind of give everybody a head start so you can make sure you're doing all the things you need to do. So when you build the ship, you can actually start using it because, well, like the Franklin, it's not really better than your regular ship for the first couple of tiers. You're kind of using your regular ship, like you were with the Franklin to kill your swarms and things like that. It wasn't until you got it up a few tiers, I think tier 5 was kind of the turning point for the original Franklin, way back in like the teens and early 20s, before it started doing better and performing better than your regular warship at the time. And I've heard similar accounts of people using the Gorn Eviscerator, that right out of the box, for a lot of players, especially if you're a G5 plus player, you're going to be using your regular ship still for a little bit. So how can you flatten the curve a little bit, shorten that time period to where you can actually use this ship and have it be more productive? And that's what we're going to talk about today. So the first thing we do want to mention is that the Gorn Eviscerator has 2 ship benefits. First one here increases isolytic damage, 200% bump, which is more than what your standard isolytic officers are probably adding to it. If you're running, Janeway Picard or Picard Data and Janeway for isolytic benefits, on your regular ships, you're getting more right here. You're also getting more Apex Isomatter defeated when killing Gorn by 5,000%. But remember, be mindful, there are 2 types of Isomatter that the Gorn hostiles drop. So while you see 5,000, you're like, oh wow, this is going to really help my loot bonus. We'll get to that. So the ship itself, this is what my ship would look like stat-wise at Ops 57. Depending on your Ops level, it may not be as good. Let's pull this over here. We'll look at just the base stats here for a second so you can see obviously there's the ship benefits. If we go down here and we just look at its stats, tier 1, straight out of the box, this is the base value of everything. Let's go to details over here. There we go. All right, so hull health, it starts off very low. Shield health also very low. Because of my research and building buffs and things, we're getting a huge increase to that. But even straight out of the box, no officers, nothing added, we're talking about 6 million hull health, approximately. It's not a lot. The hostiles I normally kill with my regular ship are 56s. Let's go down here. I was killing some yesterday. These level 56s. These particular 56s I kill in the first round, which is awesome because of my isolytic benefits and other things I've got going on. But they do just in the round 1. The first couple of shots. This is about 2.3 million hull health there, and then here's another big chunk of it. Obviously, Janeway's up in the shield mitigation a little bit in between here, so we're blocking more of this damage, but I'm still taking almost 3 million hull health damage in round 1 before I manage to kill this thing. If I'm using that Gorn Eviscerator right out of the box, assuming I can still match the damage output, I'm still dead in 2 kills. So it's a long trip to fly to, die twice and, die after 2 kills and then have to keep flying back. So um, in the early stages, you would have to punch down. What most people have to do, they have to go back and kill lower level hostiles. I kill 56s with my main ship. I'm probably having to go back down into the 40s, maybe kill 46s, 49s, at least right out of the gate, and then hopefully scaling up if possible. The thought process being is that, well, the Eviscerator gives you such a loot bonus that it's okay to punch down because you'll still come out further ahead. Except, as we mentioned, there are two types of loot. If you go to your refinery, you can see this, the isomatter options. You have your Apex isomatter, which is the second one that they added. This is the one that is used currently for your Eviscerator refinery here, which is giving you a couple different things. It's giving you Gorn parts, it's giving you materials for the Cephalocask artifact, and it's giving you little bits of officer recruit tokens, which once you build the ship, this refinery expands and it gives you options to start working on the Season 2 Strange New World officers, the Jim Kirks and the Pelias, and I think Mbenga's probably in there too, and Chapel and Sam Kirk. I think they're all in that refinery, so you can start sourcing those officers once you do have the ship. But the other one, the volatile isomatter, which is the one you've been using all along to get your Voyager officers, your Enterprise E officers, your artifact shards, and possibly even some resources. I stopped doing this one because the benefits just aren't all that great. For 1600 isomatter, I find myself getting common materials, and it's just not worth the conversion for me anymore. It may be still worth it for you. Keep doing it if it is. If not, save yourself some resources so you can maybe double pull the officers or something instead. The Gorn Eviscerator only boosts this one. So if you still want to go after this stuff, you still need to get this other volatile isomatter, which the Eviscerator is not giving you a bonus for. So if you're going to punching down at those lower level hostiles, because that's what your Eviscerator can hit, you're increasing column A, but you're decreasing column B. And since you need large amounts of this too, you're going to run into some issues. Now, in Scopely's Infinite Wisdom, they decided to go ahead and put in not one, but two. That's right, there's two. Whoops, wrong tab. Research options to help manage that. If you come all the way out here to the end of your starship tree, past all the Voyager stuff, past all the Monavine stuff, you've got volatile optimization, which increases the volatile, that's the number 2, isomatter that you gain with the Gorn Eviscerator. This one is restricted by your R&D building level, and there are 15 levels to it that will take you as high as a 200% loot bonus. Eventually, this will be really good. The other one, Volatile Augmentation, does the exact same thing, kind of mirrors the other one, only goes up to 150%, and this one is restricted to the tier of your Gorn Eviscerator. So that's obviously why I haven't done any of it now, because I don't have the Eviscerator yet. Got to at least build the ship, and you can start working on it. But the early levels are pretty low here. You're talking about 5%, 15%, 25%. So that's, small upgrades in the early stages here. And the same thing with the volatile one here. You're talking about some very low percentages, going from 5 to 10, 10 to 20 to 30. It's not even taking up to tier 6 only gets you a 50% bonus. So, excuse me, not all the best in terms of a loot bonus. You're getting 5,000% for the Apex, and you have to take this to tier 6, and you're getting 50% of the volatile. Now, of course, there's always a catch. And here's the big catch. And here's the problem with this research. It requires Gorn Eviscerator parts to upgrade. This is the same material that you will need to upgrade the ship. So you have to make a choice. Do you want to tier up your ship, or do you want to invest in this research to get small loot bonus percentages? And I think the answer is you want to tier up the ship. You want to get more hull health, you want to get more weapon damage, you want to get more below deck officer slots to make that ship be able to stay out there and fight and kill longer, because the 20% loot bonus you're going to get off of killing a 46 is probably small potatoes when compared to the fact that maybe I could just go kill a 49 or a 51 or something instead, and just naturally get 20 to 30 or 40% more loot from those targets. And if we look over here, even just taking this up to tier 6, what would it cost you, right? This is the volatile one. This is restricted by your R&D building. This is the one you could just jump and go. But even the first one requires you to be level 46. Like, you can build the ship at 40, but you can't do the research to even start getting a 5% bonus until R&D 46. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I got to go up 6 levels just to get a 5% loot bonus. And if you wanted to take it all the way up, like I said, to tier 6 here to get that 50% bonus, well, you got to be R&D 55. So you can build the ship at 40, but to even get something as small as a 50% loot bonus isn't even halfway through the upgrade. You got to get all the way to Ops 55. Yeah, that's also horrible. So for a lot of you out there who are just going to get the ship in your low to mid 40s, you don't even have a choice to make. They've already made it for you and told you you can't even do that yet. And where I am, I could take this. I couldn't even take it to tier 8. I could take it to 7 and get this 65% max bonus here. But if I wanted to go to 8, I have to go up another level and get the 58. And then it's only 110% bonus. But this one does scale all the way up through the 60s, as you can see here. And even getting to the last level requires you to be Ops 70. Which, again, crazy that your people would still, you know, need to be doing this with this type of loot bonus in the high 60s, low 70s. I guess you'd want to keep doing it just to source the officers or the artifacts and things. I don't know. And then you've got the other one here, that's the augmentation, which is based on the tier of the ship. So this one, if you can tier up the ship, you can move it up as high as you want, but that's a different topic we're gonna look at now. As you can see here, though, even just getting up the first couple levels here, you're starting at 18,000 ship parts, and again, just going up to say like level 4, level 5, you're well over 100,000 parts invested at this point, right? 18, that's about 40, 66, 96. Yeah, you're at about 130,000 parts just to get it up to level 5, and 130,000 parts has a more significant value over here, because to go from just tier 1 to tier 2 will cost you 200,000 parts. All common materials, which is good. Nothing fancy about upgrading it, just the restricted part here, the Gorn Eviscerator parts. And this is what I wanted to make sure players were aware of, that the amounts and the quantities that you need for these things, because this is what you get only. Occasionally they've been in battle passes and things like that, but this is primarily what you get only from this Eviscerator refinery here, which is what's using these Apex isomatter. So while you still have a month, before this ship is released, do yourself a favor, and if you haven't already, start getting going on this. Make sure you're pulling this refinery every day, possibly even doing double pulls or triple pulls if you can, so that way you have a nice surplus of Gorn ship parts ready to go. So when you get this thing day one right out of the box, your refinery will change, because your refinery is going to change automatically. So, do a thing, build the ship, come back, you'll have a new refinery option, do another claim, and then it should be based on your ship tier moving forward. So as you tier up the ship, remember to come back and repull your refinery. That again can help expedite getting some of the extra ship parts. We're getting some of the extra officer materials for you. I want to pull up a chart real quick for that. Hang on one second. All right, so I found the chart I was looking for. Big shout out again to the folks over at the STFC Officer Tool. Thank you, Silvis, Stewie, Lube, Jules, and Blue for putting these charts together, and those guys for housing them over on their Discord server. So this is what you're already probably doing now in your shard refineries. These are the officers and stuff that you're getting and everything here. But if you go down here to the Eviscerator refinery, you can see your basic early tier 1 things here. You're doing your single chest pull, it's costing you 500 Apex Isomatter. You're getting 6,700 parts. You're also getting having a chance of getting some of these, or getting some of these Cephalocask artifact shards and some of these recruit tokens. As you start tiering it up, you can see here the amount of parts you get starts to go up here, as does the cost, but you can do up to 3 chest pulls at a time. So if you have the time between now and then, go out, start stocking up on this Apex Isomatter. Instead of just, even if you're doing single chest pulls every week between now and then, or every day rather. So let's say it's 6,700 parts per day. Let's say you've got, we'll call it 27 days, 26 days. You could get yourself another 174,000 parts. That's basically almost enough to go from tier 1 to tier 2. As we saw, tier 1 to tier 2 cost you 200,000 parts. Even if you started today and you didn't really have any because you spent it all on the research or something else, you could still get yourself going. So when you're ready to build the ship, you can at least move it up a tier. And then, of course, you can double or triple that number depending on if you're doing 2 chest pulls or 3 chest pulls. Now, of course, we look at the cost here. You know, a 2 chest pull will cost you 3 units worth of redemptions, and a 3 chest pull is 5 times the amount of redemptions. So you are paying a premium for doing the extra pulls, but you are also giving yourself the additional ship parts for doing so. I'm going to recommend at least doing double pulls if you can. I know, obviously, hunting Gorn can be a little tedious, but if you get out there and you make a run or two and you know, do a couple of 2 chest pulls, do a couple of 1 chest pulls, and don't really have to do a lot of extra grinding, you should be in a good spot when we get to the point a month from now in mid-September when you can actually build the ship. You should also get yourself a nice little bundle here of these Apex recruits. So at least when you come in here, you can have a chance to pull. Yep, all 5 of the officers are in here. So maybe you get yourself some extra Nurse Chapel shards, or maybe some of these other epic officers that I know I didn't unlock when the month came out, and maybe you can too. And this here is the expected predictions on things like that about what you can get. And as you can see over here, here's your ship part cost is also right here on the screen. So to get it to tier 2, you need 200,000 ship parts. To get it to tier 3, it's another 330,000. And then it's 600,000 to go to get it to tier 4. So you're looking at over 1 million parts, 1.13 million parts to build it and then take it to tier 4. And tier 4 is where I've heard players in their high 40s are able to substitute the Eviscerator out and bring it in and use it instead of their regular ship and have more success. Is when they get into about tier 4. If you're a G5 player, you got to take it at least 1 more, if not 2 more tiers, getting it to 5 or possibly even 6 before it's ready to replace, you know, for me it'd be replacing my Sanctus. When's it going to replace my Sanctus? I'm going to have to get it to somewhere between tier 5 and tier 6 is where it's going to start to turn that corner for me. Again, depending on where your ops level is, that you're going to see some variance there, but anything you can do to shorten the time, because you've already waited 3 to 4 months to get the ship. So do yourself a favor, give yourself a head start, start acquiring all the ship parts you can between now and then. not really worth it to do the research because the research is not good and it requires more of the same ship parts. Maybe once you get it up to tier 5 or 6 and you're staring down the barrel of, okay, well, it's going to take me another million parts to go that next level. Well, hang on a second. Let me pump the brakes. Maybe now I'll do a little bit of the research to get some of that loot bonus going to help out with both of my isomatters. Because again, the research only helps the second one. This volatile isomatter that you need for your what they consider old content, these older officers, these older artifacts, that's the one that's helped by the research. The new content, the new refinery, the ship parts, the new officers, this is what the Eviscerator gives you the loot bonus for. If we go back and look at what I was getting from my kills here, I don't think I had any loot officers on this particular day because I was just doing the event. I didn't really care. So I'm getting 300, I'm getting 17. That's the base value. There's no modification there. So if I had the Eviscerator itself at tier 2, let me pull that back up. So at tier 1, this would be, and I took it up, obviously, when you get the ship, take it from level 1 to level 5, because you get more benefits and bonuses here. So it started at 5,000, and at even just level 5, it's already up to 6,200%. So I was getting 17 times 62. Now suddenly I'm getting 1,000 of those. So I'm getting a lot more to be able to do the refinery. So for this aspect of it, it's definitely worth it for that. But you are sacrificing the other refinery. And even if I, you know, the 300 I get, if I had a base, a little bit of that research, I'm only bringing it up to 375. It's not much of an impact, those other levels of research, for quite some time. Which is why I say kind of steer clear of those for the time being, save your parts, upgrade the ship instead, and just take advantage of the fact that you can punch down and hit the lower eviscerators here, use the eviscerator and hit lower targets to get this secondary material, which is the one you're going to feed into your refinery over and over again to do your upgrades. Hopefully that helps and that gets you prepared, and you, like I said, you've got about 4 weeks to go, just under 4 weeks, in order to build the ship. So give yourself a head start. Hopefully by the time you're ready and build your ship, you can get it at least 2 or 3 tiers up, and then you'll have some officer slots below deck, and you can get out there and you can actually get some enjoyment out of this thing that you've been grinding towards for the last 3.5 months. Thank you very much for watching. Leave a comment if you have any questions about this mechanic or just want to share some thoughts. Hopefully I will see you on one of my live Twitch streams sometime soon. If I don't, see you around the galaxy first. Take it easy, everybody.